Welcome back, everyone, to the next episode of Learn to Code. Today we're going to be going over something that's pretty important, and that's going to be a new data type called a Boolean. And we're also going to be talking about conditionals, which lets you run code if certain conditions are true or false. So I guess to start out, a Boolean is a variable that can either be true or false. And the way you declare a Boolean is by typing the word bool. And let's say we wanted the Boolean to represent if your job is a developer. So we could say is developer, and we could say true. And so now this Boolean is developer is set to true. If you want it to be false, you just type the word false like that. But we'll leave it as true. And so that is basically all it is for Boolean variables. You just give it the type Boolean, and then you tell it true or false. And so say we wanted to print a greeting to the user if they're a developer, and we wanted to print a different one if they're not. And so this is where something called an if-else block comes in. And so the way that you do this is you type the word if, you put some parentheses, and then you have to put a Boolean condition in here. So whatever's inside these parentheses needs to be either true or false. So we can put is developer in there since it's a Boolean. And then we can say cout hello there, you are a developer. And so now this will only be printed if is developer is true. So if we run this, it prints it out because we set is developer to true. Now if we come back and we change this to false, we run it, it doesn't print anything. And that's because when it evaluates this line, if is developer, that's not true. So whatever's in this block of code here, that will not get executed if this is false. And so we can actually add extra conditions to this. So say we wanted to do one thing if is developer is true, and a different thing if it's not true. Then that's where the else block comes in. So you can say if is developer, do this, and then else is like otherwise. So we say otherwise, we print out something different. So we could say hello there, you are not a developer. And so now, since is developer is false, it's gonna check here and say that's false, so it won't print this line, but then it will print this line, because this catches if this is not true, then otherwise we do this. So if I run this, it prints hello there, you are not a developer. If we switch it back to true, then prints out the first one. And so we can actually get a little bit more complicated with this, and we can use inside here what's called Boolean Expressions. So what if we had somebody what if we didn't want to just check if they're a developer or not? We wanted to be able to print something. We wanted to be able to print whatever occupation they are. So say we wanted to be able to check, well, first of all, let's just create a variable occupation. And we'll say that our occupation is developer. Okay, and so now we're able to do, instead of just putting a Boolean variable in here, we can do what's called a Boolean expression. So we can actually check if the occupation is equal to certain things. So if we wanted to check if occupation is equal to developer, then print this. Otherwise, print this. And you'll notice that I use two equal signs right here. And in code, two equal signs is different from one equal sign. So equals is called, that's called the assignment operator. And so when you assign a variable a value, you use one equal sign. But two equal signs you use when you compare two things. So we're comparing occupation with this other string, developer. And so if the two are equal, then this whole expression will evaluate to true, and so it will print this. So you can see that if we run it right here, it runs, hello there, you are a developer, because the variable occupation and this are the same. Now maybe we wanted to check for a different type of occupation. So we can actually put in another block here. We can say else if, and then we can do another occupation. If your occupation is firefighter, then we can print hello there, you are a firefighter. And then we'll put the else block at the end. So the way this happens now is it first checks this expression. If this is true, then it prints here, and then it doesn't do any of these blocks. If this is not true, then it's going to check the next condition. So it'll check for firefighter, and if that's true, it'll print this. And then if none of the if and else if blocks are true, then it will print whatever's in the else block. So this is like code you want to execute if none of these happen to be true. And so there's different types of Boolean expressions. So you can do expression, you can compare numbers. So you could say like if 5 is greater than 6, then this will be assigned false because 5 is not greater than 6. So this will be false. So you see if we print out the expression here at the end, it prints 0, and that's because in the computer a Boolean is represented as either a 1 or a 0. We type true and false, but the computer reads it as 1 or 0. So a 0 is false and a 1 is true. So if we change this around and we say 5 is less than 6, which is true, then it should print a 1 right here. Just because that's how the Boolean is represented in the computer. And so you can compare numbers like that, and you can compare strings, see if they're equal. We could also, instead of greater than or less than, we can compare equals with numbers as well. And so 5 is not equal to 6, so that's not true. We can actually check not equals. So an exclamation mark is called the not operator, and so it just negates whatever you're trying to do. So if we do not equal to 6, then that's true. So 5 is not equal to 6, and it should print 1 right here. So that is pretty much all there is to Booleans and conditionals. And I will see you guys in the next video.